Brian,
Hello.
how's it going, dude?
Is it me you're looking for?
It is. It is. You are the droid I'm looking for.
Oh, good.
Dude, we got to kill Atheon last night.
I saw, dude. It was pretty epic.
Yeah, Game Freak. We had a bad bubble popped in the middle of the platform, and all of our shots were not hitting until we finally picked up on it. And then we got teleported again, so I'm on Mars. And I'm like, does this mean we lost the challenge? And then I get killed almost immediately. And Game Freak decides, you know what? We're winning this thing. Pops his own bubble on the back of that platform, jumps up, goes right under Atheon, and just snipes him like 3 times. And game over. Challenge complete. We got everything. All the goods. No Vex for me. But it's pretty exciting.
Of course, no Vex. It's going to take you at least 20 more times before that thing drops. Just like last time.
That is true. That is true.
And with your RNG, it might be 30 times. Let's be honest.
That's right. That's right. Well, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
The Lootcast starts now. What is going on? Welcome to episode 92. 92. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Destinaut is with me as always. What is going on, man?
Nothing much. I'm not even going to say where I was in 92. It was a while ago.
It's all good. It's all good. We don't have to talk about it. Hopefully playing some Super Nintendo.
Probably.
Yeah.
I might have been playing some Genesis.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're a Sega. Sega.
I didn't get around to the SNES until a little ways down the road. It wasn't my first 16-bit system, but it was my last.
We forgive you. It's all right. It's all right. Well, yeah, I want to say hey to everybody in the chat with us. iDropC, Maverick, and Henny. What is going on, guys? Everyone else that's hanging out with us, that's just lurking, we're really glad you're here. Thank you so much. We do this show live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. We try to start. It depends on how long Skype takes to load for me, because sometimes it takes about 20 minutes. So, that's just the way Skype is. Doesn't like my Mac all that much. So 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, twitch.tv/The Loot Cave. You can watch this live. If you guys would like to get yourself a free book from Audible, you can go to audibletrial.com/The Lootcast, and you can get a free book of your choice. Some of the books we recommend: Ready Player One, Armada, Game of Thrones,
Moby Dick,
Lord of the Rings.
classic.
There's all kinds of books on there. I've been listening to the Star Wars ones lately, so good stuff on there. That's audibletrial.com/The Lootcast. Guys, we also have a Nintendo podcast called the Nintendo Powercast. You can find that on iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. And we basically just talk Nintendo stuff, as you know. That's probably kind of obvious. Lastly, if you'd like to get yourself an extra Destiny podcast, you can go to patreon.com/The Lootcast, and for $1 or more, you get yourself an extra show right there. So go check out our Patreon. We really, really appreciate the support, guys. For everybody that does that, we cannot thank you enough. So, Destiny.
Yeah.
How much this week, Brian?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part. I got the ghetto bird circling right now. I'm probably about to get swatted. I heard Destiny.
Did you get to play any Destiny this last week?
Not this week. It's been a pretty busy week. But I have been jumping into a lot of streams. There's a lot of people raiding. A lot of people raiding in streams right now.
Yeah, man. I know we mentioned at the beginning of the show, like talking about doing Vault of Glass, right, and our epic Atheon ending, which was just a ton of fun. But like, it was actually refreshing jumping into that raid and having it be a struggle. Like, it was not something that just we didn't just breeze through it. Yeah, I even told the guys while we were playing it, like, you know what, we're dying a lot. and this is cool.
Yeah, I was kind of getting the same feeling from everyone. Like I said, with all the Twitch streams that I watched, it wasn't just like, okay, it's Vault of Glass again, guys. Let's okay. Here's the oracles. Okay, here's Atheon. Okay, stand here. I think it could have been a little bit easier, but people were trying to do the challenge modes. So, they didn't want to just breeze through it. They wanted to do these additional modes kind of that Bungie has added in. So it's really cool to see people kind of like, step up their game to do the challenge modes. And then on top of that, it was really exciting to see other people excited because we're getting, I don't want to say new weapons, but we're getting new versions of the weapons. And people are like genuinely excited to be getting weapons again. Because, I don't know if people have watched raids. I don't want to say lately because all the new stuff is dropping, but, the past couple of months, people are jumping into raids. It's like, oh, yeah, we're doing Vault of Glass. Okay, because there's nothing new, it's just like they're just doing it to do it, kind of. It's not a real reason. But now it's almost like there's a reason, so there's this new energy in the community that's really exciting to see.
Yeah, even Henny is saying the best weapons, to be honest, it's we laughed so hard last night. Like, it was so much fun. Like, I didn't get to play. You know what? I kind of unplugged this last week. I hardly did any streaming. The little bit of gaming I did was mostly like with my family. Like we bowling and stuff, like Nintendo Land, and just kind of like that was the main gaming I did. Other than that, I was like, you know what? I kind of just need to unplug a bit. And so it was good. But yesterday I was like, you know what? I want to jump into this thing. I want to stream the raid. I want to see if we can knock out the challenge modes. And we were able to. But there was so much laughs. Like, we just have such a good time. You get the whole loot. We had a full 6-man. It was just the Loot Clan in there. And, my son joins us, which is cool. And go do the jumping puzzle. Well, I usually have like my Striker Titan on and I do like the Superman just all the way across and hit the ledge. Well, I forgot I was a bubble. So I went to go hit it. And I'm doing the jumping puzzle. I get to the last one where I'm like, oh, I can make this. And I'm just a little bit above the platform. Pop the bubble. Boo! I just fell to my death. Like, literally just this purple bubble. Yeah,
I saw I saw that in stream, and instantly, and rightfully so, everyone demanded your Titan card.
Titan card.
Yeah. So
I think Jimmy Pike was like, I'm gonna need your Titan card.
And rightfully so, yeah. It almost looked intentional. That's how bad it was. Like, there's no way he did that on accident. But
I seriously was like, I thought I had it. I'm like, oh, I got this. I got this.
It reminded me of you just sitting there and I was like, I got it. I got it. I don't got it.
Yeah,
that's from Fight Club. He's like, I got it. I lost it. As you plummet to your death. Yeah. So, but it's stuff like that, I think these new raids, again, I say new, but these refreshed raids, I think have really like invigorated people to the point where, well, as far as Vault of Glass goes, like back to year one, you're going in, you're going to get something cool out of this raid. You're going to get some cool weapon or armor. And I think it seems so simple, but it's just that little thing. Knowing that you're going to get something kind of like pumps everybody up, because as the raids kind of got stale, or I should say, the corresponding raid to that year or that DLC got stale, that's when the real grind like sets in, and it can be a little bit less fun, I think, when you're just like, oh my gosh, I've done this 20 times. I just want the Fatebringer. Like, just drop, please, and then it doesn't drop. And of course, there's like some disappointment there. So I think when the loot pool is huge and no matter what you do, you're going to get something new, it makes the whole thing fun. you know, the blue flames that Henny just said. Like, going through a Nightfall, when you go through it, and I know some people might say, like, oh, that's just something for someone to hold over someone else. Like, oh, look at me, I got blue flames. If that, I don't know, if that's what makes you better than someone else, you need to seek hobbies elsewhere, I guess. But it's just cool to see that, you know, like, you're in the tower, you're third person. That's the only time you get to see your blue flames anyways. It's like, yep, cool, I got him. My guy's head's on fire. It's a video game. It's fun. So, yeah, anytime you get that, just that little perk, just it's such a simple little thing. They need to keep this going into Destiny 2. They need to carry this. They just need to carry on, and you know, just it's the little things, the details.
Yeah, and like I said, man, it's just like there's so many laughs getting together with the clan, like just the digs, you know, like we jumped in and it had been so long, right? Like everything was like some of it was like I feel like I haven't done this, you know, even though I had done it lots. I didn't remember stuff like I had to grab the relic after we got teleported, right? I'm like, oh, I've got this. I used to do this all the time.
You didn't remember stuff like mechanics.
I grabbed the relic and I'm like, oh yeah, I've got to go down and smash those. Like I completely forgot. Get down there, just get killed. Or no, I get down there and the two guys that are with me both get sniped and killed. And Game Freak goes, who grabbed the relic? And then like Sajak was like, Josh did. He's like, that's what I thought. No more touching the relic. You know, it's just constantly getting thrown out. Like it's laughs all the time. Like it's because I mean, you know how those things can be like when you're in the raid and you're like, how many more times are we going to do this? Like you just get frustrated. Like we just seem to make the most of it, you know? And I asked the guys in the chat here, like, hey, what's some of your, you know, what have you guys been enjoying with this new update? And you know, Henny said blue flames. Khan said raids with Das Looters, late night raid team.
We had a German branch.
Yeah, we got, and that's the thing. We've got like 3 shifts of raid teams going on in the clan, which is great because it pretty much it's a 24-hour cycle. And then Henny says, no doubt, Loot Clan raids are amazing, and it's I mean, it really just is. It's such a great time. And if it wasn't for that, if I was doing LFG, to be perfectly honest, I don't even know that I would jump back into this because it's just there's not that. Camaraderie and that kind of stuff that just like I'm excited to play with the guys I've been playing with for so long. Like the clan is going on its 3rd year now, you know, which is crazy. But that's
a cardboard anniversary. I don't remember.
I'm not sure. We'll have to look it up. But I mean, that's really a huge draw to be like. Mm-hmm. You know what? I know I can post in our little app that, hey, we're going to get together and play, and there's going to be people there, and we're gonna have a good time doing it. So, but yeah. So, do you think you're going to jump into King's Fall?
That's a toughie for me. That's oh, man. If I'm gonna compare King's Fall to anything, I'm gonna compare it to the straw that the camel had on his back. that raid, see, that's my least favorite raid of all the raids. The reason being, I truly feel that after the Crota raid, there was so much backlash from the community about, oh, come on, Bungie, this is so easy, this is stupid, this is the Crota strike, you know? I seriously felt like, and rightfully so, I feel like Bungie was like, fine, you want to play that game? Here, take this. Beat this with 2 Guardians. The thing is, for me with it almost crosses the line of not being in some ways fun. You know, it's very technical. It requires a lot of cooperation. It requires a lot of good servers. You know, it's because you jump in there and you're like, I made that jump. What the heck, you know? And it's just, the stars have to align for that raid to go smoothly. From my experience, it could be because I'm a total loser and don't know how to play the game, but Um, yeah, for me, it just crosses that line, of just, all right, this is work. This is quite a bit of work. So to jump back into this thing, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be this raid.
I know there's been times we spent like 6 hours on that last part, and it's just kind of like that was too much. But that being said, that was the first raid that you were with me too, right? The first raid we ever did blind. I think you took work off.
Yeah.
Like when that raid first dropped.
Yeah, because we didn't do Vogue and Crota. I had just jumped over to Xbox at that time. Thank you very much, Bungie, for not giving me my full year 1 book on that one. But yeah, I had jumped over at that time to Xbox, and I don't think I was high enough level. I was still really grinding to get up to level when that raid was out.
I know jumping into it blind for me, that's what there's like the nostalgia factor for King's Fall. It's super frustrating, but I mean, remember the first time walking out, like you walk out during the jumping puzzle or whatever, and that those giant like pillars send you flying across the room, and you're like, what happened? Like, yeah, why am I flying now? There's and when everything's firing on all cylinders, the stars do align. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's a fun raid. But when the guys are talking in the chat, I think Bones from Crucible Radio is who they're referencing. He said, when you wipe in King's Fall, it's like losing 10 to 15 minutes, right? Whereas when you wipe in Vogue, it's like you've lost 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's not very and maybe that's why for me it's kind of like I'm all for making things challenging, but when you lose 20 minutes, you're like, all right, dude, I gotta go to work tomorrow, guys. I gotta go. And then as soon as one person leaves, even with a clan, never mind LFG, that's another 20 minutes finding another teammate. So, yeah, it's just it's a very challenging raid, and I'm glad it's in the game, because I'm all for, hey, this could be the super like fun raid. This is the super technical raid. This is the speedrunners raid. It's cool. It's variety, It's like, I don't think you can have too much variation. I don't think it's a bad thing, So I think it's cool that there is a super hard technical raid, and that to beat that, especially in a timely manner, is considered an achievement. So I'm glad it's there. Just not my favorite.
I drop C in the chat says at the time it came out, it was like we needed that type of raid. Or it didn't seem like such a job to run through it. I don't know. It just felt different. I liked the mechanics, but now I don't. And I think that's probably how a lot of us kind of feel. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I mean, that's how I'm at. When that raid first dropped, I was like, I love this. I love the running back and forth between that thing starts. And it's like you don't even start the raid until after you've done like a jumping puzzle and you've moved some orbs and you had to jump across the ships. And again, if you were last on the ships, you had to post in our band app that, hey, I was last on the ships. And so, people would kind of just kind of razz you a little bit, and that kind of stuff just made it fun. But then towards the end, when it was like one person would step off their plate or they wouldn't shoot their sniper and the platforms would disappear, and just starting that process over and over and over again, like it eventually just kind of wore you out. That being said, I don't mind jumping back in and knocking the challenges out and doing it. I won't do it on all 3 characters. I'm just not that devoted anymore. Yeah. Right. I mean, there's even going through and getting new stuff, I'm not going to play. I just don't have the time even to play like I used to. And so it's like, cool, I got new guns, but I'm not going to be using them all that much. Right. And so for the people that are able to and that are playing on a regular basis, like this is awesome. I
Yeah.
mean it's really cool that we're seeing new exotics and y- y- I mean, what do you think? To me, I think this is how they should have done it all along. I think these raid weapons should have dropped as exotics in the challenge mode, and just to add more exotics to the game, more choices, more variety, and then still have the just the legendary ones for just doing it normal. Like I hope this is something that carries over into Destiny 2 personally, because again, it's one of those things. It's like maybe the challenge modes are a little more difficult, especially come like brand new raids when we've never
Hmm.
um, when we've never played them and trying to figure them out. The first few people that do that challenge mode and are walking around the tower with that gun on their back, or I guess it's not the tower because Destiny 2 we lose the tower, but whatever the case may be, like that kind of stuff is awesome. And so I really hope we see more of that. But I mean, what do you think? Do you like that the way that loot is dropping and kind of the way it the difference between the two?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm glad it was implemented now, um, more than ever, and I do not mean this in a bad way at all. Um, if Destiny as a whole is a beta for Destiny 2, I'm expecting good things from Destiny 2. Um, that joke was always thrown around as as a negative, like, oh, this whole thing's a beta that we have to pay for, and um, if we get Destiny 2 and we get all the changes that they've made so far, that they've been able to look at with a great length of time. It's not like, I don't think we've ever got a really quick change in this game where it's just like, oh, Thorn's broken. Okay, guys, we'll fix it tomorrow. We never got that. I feel like they really looked at what was broken or not broken or OP, and they tested it, and then they tried it, and maybe it still didn't work. I think getting these, like you said, like, these legendary versions of the weapons and exotic versions of the weapons. I mean, it already immediately doubles the loot pool, kind of like you're like, oh, I can get twice as many weapons from this, but then the fact that you got like an exotic version of it, I think that's really cool because, it's almost, I mean, you get that type of stuff in real life. Anyone can go out and buy like a 45 pistol, like a basic version, but then in real life we kind of have like exotic versions of it as well, that like someone's gonna go drop a ton of coin on and be like, check this out, dude, I got a laser and a scope on this thing. um
Gold plated, covered
yeah,
in diamonds.
I got the golden eye pistol, like, just, it's like, it's gold plated. Does it do anything? Well, no, but it looks cool. But yeah, I mean, we've said it in the past too. Anytime I think Destiny adds more, like, of course, more loot, that's always a good thing. But more variety, more raids. Again, it goes back to like what I was saying. It's such a little thing, but I think it adds so much to, again, like a purpose to go in and do these things. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm not saying I would want exotic versions of every single weapon in the game. I guess that could be cool. But I think especially for the ones that, the community has, is very outspoken and like, hey, we love this gun. We love this gun. This is the new meta, like, I would really like to see, especially going forward into Destiny 2, maybe they have 100% new weapons in Destiny 2, but then all of a sudden there's like an exotic version of like, hung jury somewhere, and it's like, I think that was an awesome scout rifle, and all of a sudden get like an exotic version of it, because maybe, I don't know what the time period will be in Destiny 2. I don't know if it's like 50 years later, 10 minutes later. I don't know how that goes, but I think it'd be cool to be kind of like, oh, it's a relic from the past. It's exotic.
I really hope the story in Destiny 2 kind of ends like Halo 2 does. Like, let's finish this fight, and then it's roll the credits. Yeah.
I don't know if I want it exactly like that, but I see where you're going with this.
Right, you're right. Get sucked back in time or something. I'm just curious what they're gonna do, but
what if Destiny 2 ends like you said, kind of like a cliffhanger, and then Destiny 3 starts off. Okay, the new tower was attacked by a new enemy. We lost our new vault. We lost everything. You just start over again.
Right. Yeah, I feel like they did the easy way out for this one. Like, you're starting fresh, but I'm wondering when it comes time for Destiny 3, is it going to be I'm wondering if we go back in time or something to where we can't have all of our stuff, who knows, but I mean,
yeah.
Here's what I have a very strong feeling that Destiny 2 is going to be full of Easter eggs that point back to year one. That'll kind of like be a little like, just kind of that little like, hey guys, remember this? Like finding parts of a Gjallarhorn or, Red Death, or, maybe they'll come back in a new like modified version or something like that. We don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. Just like there was ghosts all over in Destiny 1, if we didn't just search for ghosts, but we actually ended up finding like, some of the exotic weapons and maybe the exotic armor and that kind of stuff, not as kind of how we found like my brain just seized on me right there. But how there's like the artifacts.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I could see happening, where it's like, we didn't necessarily carry any like guns around as artifacts, but there was different little pieces that kind of told little stories. Well, now those little stories are things that we have done, possibly. Yeah. And so, I mean, who knows? I mean, even if it's like a wolf's head or something that comes off of the Gjallarhorn or whatever, that we'll know, right? We'll know that's what it was from. So I look forward to that kind of stuff. And hopefully it's hidden everywhere, and it's the kind of thing that Reddit lights up on a regular basis with, hey, look what I found, that kind of thing. The other thing I really hope comes over to Destiny 2 is like stuff like the Black Spindle, that mission where it was like a strike we did time and time again, but if you did this in a certain time, it opened up this and you could go a different direction, that kind of stuff. Like that's really cool. But I like it best when they don't tell us, like I hope there's stuff we're finding months later that we didn't know was there. I hope stuff's well hidden, and at the same time that there's a lot of stuff to grind for, because we've talked about that, how like, I mean, we even had Broncos come into the stream last night while we were playing, and he's like, oh, I got all the armor for my Warlock plus all the weapons, and it's like, it was the first week, dude. Like, is there any reason to even go back in at this point, So to me, I feel like they're dropping stuff faster than I would like. But at the same time, because of the short time frame that's left to play this game, I can see why they're doing it. I hope that kind of stuff is modified, especially looking at like the trailer and how like everything's destroyed.
Yeah.
I hope we're using like the if they use the same like colored engrams, I hope we're using like the white and the blue and the green and the purple for a while, and looking at what, and he's saying, guys, if you go to the Skywatch, there's a cave with a bunch of bones, and if you disturb the remains, it says something. What does it mean?
Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah, right. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where it's like, we had this loot cave, and they were like, and they threw something in there just to kind of like,
That's not the
okay,
magic word.
right, we'll remember.
Yeah, I hope they take things like that, going forward and just sprinkle them throughout. That would be really cool. I don't know, for some reason I also foresee buy all five, sets of the Mega Bloks Destiny collection and put them together and get a real world Year One Thorn in game. I also see that too. Yeah, I think they have a lot to work with. I think as we saw in Destiny 1, a huge disappointment to many was the Grimoire cards. Everyone was like, why isn't this in game? Why can't you just throw this in cutscenes? There is so much that I think this game could have in it. It's almost like the framework is there. You just need to decide, I guess, which parts of the story you want to play up. Like you said, like, oh yeah, we could do like almost like a prequel, and all those things in the Grimoire, we could actually play those. I always thought it would be cool to like just to switch it up. I know it's been done before, but like do a horde mode or something where you've got the last battle where you're like defending the wall, and it's like it could be a flashback, but it's also like a PvP mode or a PvE horde mode. So it's like you got that stuff, you can throw it in the game. On the flip side, I do like that there's this stuff on paper that they haven't shown, and it's almost like your own mind can fill in the blanks. I know from people from our generation, we had a very different view of what the prequels for Star Wars would be before we actually saw them on film, and it was so cool because you'd get these discussions with people like, no, I think it's this, or I think it's this, or what if this happened? What if that happened? So I think it's cool to not show things, because then when you do show things, a lot of times you're like, well, that's not the way I envisioned it. I mean, I guess this is cool too, but I liked it better my way. But, so I'm all for not going back in the story and going forward. Lore be damned. Let's like, hey, let's why don't we make some new lore here? Just because something shouldn't be a certain way, let's push those boundaries story wise.
And he says, and then Jar Jar.
Oh, I wonder who the Jar Jar of Destiny 2 will be. I can't wait.
Oh, no. So here's one of the things. We do have a question in the chat I want to get to, but before, one of the things that I'm hopeful about is the fact that we're going to have story in game. Mm-hmm. And even based on the teaser trailer and the trailer, right? We saw near the end, we saw from about King's Fall forward, we started getting more cutscenes. There were some cutscenes in vanilla, but not that many, and they were usually pretty short, and they didn't have a whole lot of information. Where like, the more we can see Cade 6 and that kind of stuff, the better. And if I remember correctly, one of the first Destiny 1 vanilla Destiny trailers I remember seeing was like that live action thing was like, what do you speak Space Turtle or whatever? And it was like, it was kind of cheesy. It was live action. These were faceless, nameless characters that had like, there was no, it showcased the game somewhat, but it was like, this wasn't really telling much of a story. Right. And now that everybody is saying we want story, the first trailer is packed full of story. I mean, we're seeing things to speculate about. We're seeing main characters like give speeches that are like, let's go kill Gary. And that has me hyped, because hopefully it's the beginning of of what Destiny 2 will be as far as story content. That there will be cutscenes, that there will be in-game story, and honestly, I'm glad. Like I had thought maybe we'll go back in time or something like that. I'm glad we're not, because we have a lot of loose ends to tie up. I want to know where the Queen's brother's at. I want to know where the Queen is at. I want to know, where the stranger went to. Like, what happened to some of this stuff? Like, even if we don't have those stories come to a conclusion, like I still want to know something about them. Was he blown out of space, or did he survive? Like the Queen's brother, that is. And so there's definitely loose ends there that I would like to see wrapped up. And
yeah, I could see it going both ways, though. I mean, from what I understand, the story we got in the original Destiny Vanilla, or even DLCs, wasn't exactly the story that was originally supposed to be. So I'm wondering how much of it they're gonna carry forward, if they're just kind of like, hey, let's treat the original Destiny as just kind of like a concept, and let's just make part 2, I don't want to say exactly the same, but kind of the same but bigger. That's like, I don't know. I'll say this, like, I'm a little scared in a little bit with Destiny 2 coming out. Only because we know that the original vanilla Destiny wasn't exactly considered as much commercially. It was a success. It sold a ton. The DLC sold a ton. So commercially, you could probably look at Destiny as a whole and be like, all right, clearly that was a success. But I think a lot of fans in some ways felt disappointed about certain aspects of it. I'm hoping that they don't look at Destiny as a whole, Destiny 1 as a whole, DLCs included, and say like, look guys, clearly this was the right decisions that we made. Let's just make Destiny 2 exactly the same, pretty up the graphics, and tell a different story. That's my only fear, is that obviously shareholder wise, they're probably super happy with Destiny. And we've all heard the horror stories about, Activision, EA, these big companies which are necessary to make these games. You can't just make a video game for $20, and be on the level that Destiny is. Yeah, so I'm kind of just hoping that doesn't happen, because they're like, hey, look, clearly it sold a lot. Clearly we did the right thing. Well, let's make the prettier 1080p Scorpio 4K version and do the same thing. To some degree, we're already seeing that with the way that they're doing things with DLC and exclusivity, which I think people don't like, but that part is what it is. So I don't know. That's my only fear about this going forward, is that they might play it safe.
Yeah, I hope not. I got faith. I got faith. Prime Griffin says, what are things you don't want Destiny to show in their reveals? The fact that they're having a Twitch reveal, which is May 18th, means what? At least a half hour of content for gameplay. And I think Henny kind of hits the nail on the head. He says, honestly, I don't want him to show much of anything. A quick reveal of graphics and what it will be like, but nothing like there has been lately. About if you think about King's Fall, we didn't know. We pretty much knew everything going into that, right? And I want to, again, I know I've already referenced it once, but to go back to Halo 2, right? We saw a cinematic reveal trailer. I may get the timeline mixed up because it's been so long, but I think the first thing we saw is him as Chief on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
right? Doing that mission that wasn't, it was kind of one we ended up doing in the game, but not really. It was more just made for the
It's
E3,
like a generic
like
version of it, kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. Like basically, if they went on patrol
Hmm.
and they stayed in a small area, that would be fine with me. Like just a small area of patrol, so that we can see some of the graphics, we can see the textures, we can see, you know, um, see the gameplay, maybe see some enemies, whatever. What I don't want to see is like,
Here's the
you
first
know,
30 minutes of the game.
yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to. I think patrol would honestly be the best thing for them to do, so that
Yeah.
we don't get like, I don't really want any kind of story elements, anything like that in the in the reveal stuff. Now, that being said, if they come back with more cinematic stuff, just like they did with and see, they already kind of did that though. The Halo had like that tech demo, and then it had, or Halo 2, and then it showed like, I think it showed Chief, maybe even the way they teased it, where like he's coming out of that elevator,
Mhm.
right, and Cortana's talking to him and stuff, and he opens the door, and some, I know it's been a while, but and then the next thing we saw was PvP.
Yeah.
Right. And Henny just said that in the chat too, like patrol in a PvP match. Like, I think that should kind of be the main focus of their reveal. Like, don't, and maybe if they're going to if they teased something with the stranger or whatever, that would be fine with me too. But it has to just literally be a tease. Like, just give us stuff to speculate about, because it makes good conversation for podcasts and YouTube videos and that kind of thing. Like, give us stuff to speculate about. Don't give us any concrete details. Show us some gameplay, show us some PvP, and yeah, that's right. That Chief in Halo 2 says, "I'm giving the Covenant back their bomb." That was like that trailer, and it was just epic. And it left you just wanting to play the game, and you're like, what is happening? Why is this, so it showed something really awesome happening.
Why is
but
this
you really,
awesome?
yeah, what is going on here? So
Yeah.
that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, same here. I think we've kind of covered, like, we would like them to be a little bit more vague with what they're showing us. Clearly people know what this is. We know it's going to be a first person shooter. We've heard it's going to be a little bit more open world. There's going to be what they're calling like city hubs. So, and I think those are, I can only speculate, but I'm guessing those are going to be like the new like drawing a blank here, the new patrols kind of. I'm hoping that like we're in one city hub, let's say the tower, and it's like, hey, we need to go west to this village, Going west to that village is the patrol, in a sense, like the in-between, where you can pick up these little side missions maybe. Maybe there's like dynamic encounters where maybe one time you go to that village, nothing happens. But then the second time you go to that village, like a giant sandworm comes out of the ground or something, I think things like that would be cool. Again, and then like you said, you can pick up your little patrol mission bounties, and oh yeah, we could either fast travel straight to that village, or we could actually take our sparrows to that village, pick up some spin metal on the way. When we get to the next village, you can turn in the bounty, or something like that. Or if they keep it the way it is, you can turn in your bounties instantly. I think it would be cool if that was the way they incorporated patrols, was just kind of the empty space in between these city hubs and towns. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, we have no idea, right? Like, because in my mind, I just have the same kind of like, oh, let's go to Mars, and we go around this giant circle, and that's patrol, and they could make patrol something entirely different. And Prime Griffin's saying maybe just a PvP match. He thinks patrol is pushing it too far. Now, I want to clarify. When I say patrol, I'm talking like they jump into one area that has a few enemies, and that's it. They don't go, because like he's saying, remember what they did on the Dreadnought? It was like they walked all along the Dreadnought, and then they went to the Court of Oryx, and and played like 2 or 3 rounds there.
Didn't they even try to beat it or something, and they couldn't, and they were just like, "All right, end of stream. Sorry, guys."
I think so, you know, and Henny's saying like, what if it's open world, right? Which that would be cool, like,
ooh, a first person shooter in an open world action adventure
with RPG elements.
Sweet.
Oh, 2017. So, but I mean, that's the thing. This game can be so much bigger than Destiny 1 was, because we don't have the limitations of last gen hardware. And so, I mean, I really think they went back to the drawing board on a number of things. And I would be surprised if we go to a planet and have, well, I would be somewhat surprised if we go to a planet and you just have this space and you patrol in it, right? But what I wouldn't be too surprised if that was the case, but that patrol area was like 5 times, 10 times as big as what we had in Destiny 1. And like you said, those little villages and that kind of stuff, like, maybe it's the kind of thing that initially patrolling is just that. It's unlocking part of the map, right? If, like, say you go to Earth, but you have like this massive place to explore, but you only unlock stuff as you get to these little towns and territories and that kind of stuff. Like, maybe you're going in dark before that. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be, but if you can't patrol until stuff is much more opened up, that'd be cool too. We got, is our chat just trolling us tonight? Is that what's happening?
We were talking about the limitations of the old systems, and Henny brought up, said, seriously, to give more vault space, they removed the map bots that used to be in the tower. Remember them? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they really did squeeze everything they could out of the last or the systems, you know. I mean, you gotta remember the current systems have 8 gigabytes of RAM. You know, the Xbox 360 had 512 shared RAM and megabytes, not gigabytes, 512 megabytes. The PS3 had 256 megabytes of system RAM and 256 megabytes of video RAM that was not shared. So 256, you can't even get that anymore. You know, I don't even think you can get that in your iPhone. Yeah, so it would be cool. I know you haven't played the new Mass Effect, but you kind of described it in a sense. They drop you down on a planet, and then as you go around it, you unlock new portions of it. I don't know if that's the best analogy. A lot of people aren't liking Mass Effect right now, but whatever. It's like a Dragon Age, though. They did a similar system there as well. Well, I forgot.
Well, I'm even just thinking like Zelda. I'm thinking like Zelda, right? Where it was just like,
it's the same thing.
If you wanted to unlock the map, you had to go to a certain tower, or like Assassin's Creed. You know, it's something we see in quite a few modern games now, and you know, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. But yeah. Well, my friend, we're right about to that hour mark. So first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody hanging out with us in the chat. Seriously, guys, we appreciate you. So thank you for that. If you guys want to join us, it's twitch.tv/thelootcave every Tuesday night at 7. We always tweet it out and everything like that. Destinaut, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at DestinatTLC. Also here on this fine show every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Do not tune in 7 p.m. Eastern. I will still be at work. 7 p.m. Pacific. And also on our Nintendo Powercast that comes on a little bit late for some people. That's 9 p.m. Pacific. You can also check me out on farmersonly.com. I'll be there. Look me up.
Oh, he's always looking for a good role in that. Never mind. You guys can find me on Spoiler, it's a Minecraft clone, Destiny 2. Yikes. I hope not.
With worse graphics.
Right. You can find me on Twitter at N64Josh. And you can find me on Twitch, guys. I do some streaming on there periodically, twitch.tv/N64Josh. And, the Loot Cave is on Facebook. It's on Twitter, all that stuff. If you guys want to follow there, we do post the updates to these shows and when we're live and all that stuff. So however you like, whatever social media you like to use, we're probably there. We do have a Loot Cave Discord. I'll include the link to that in the show notes, which you can find at thelootcave.com/episode92. Whew. Lastly, remember, audibletrial.com/thelootcast gets you a free audiobook of your choice. It helps support this show. We do have a Patreon. You can get an extra show for $1 or more each month. And we also need some reviews. So if you have a second, you can go onto iTunes, leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. Everyone in the chat, thank you again. We'll be back in about an hour if you want to watch the next show. And if you guys are listening to this tomorrow, thank you so much. We do really, really appreciate every last one of you. See you later.